may pass over to a dwelling place of light and peace through Christ our Lord. The Lord be with you. Let us bless the Lord. Thanks be to God. If you'd like to be seated for a few moments, and Kevin has a few words to share with us.
Hello. I just wanted to say a few words and give a quick and probably inadequate summary of Dad's life. He was born in Louisburgh, County Mayo in 1933 into a rural farming and building family, and he was very proud of it. He was one of 9 surviving children and briefly had a twin, James, who sadly died at a few weeks old. He had a very happy but humble childhood in Louisburgh. He was educated in St Mary's, Galway, where he's probably remembered more for his football accomplishments than his academic ones. He seemed to be very happy there, though, and made lifelong friends. He left Louisburgh to work in London in the early 50s in construction for a few years, then returned to Dublin, and to his own surprise, got himself into the Royal College of Surgeons, where he briefly studied medicine. He found it wasn't for him, and he dropped out to go to work to try and make some money. I think I might have inherited my aversion to serious study and been tied to a desk from him. Unfortunately, I didn't inherit his money-making ability. After a series of jobs, he joined Ready Mix Concrete. This was a game changer, and he loved it there, and he thrived, making dear, lifelong friends, many of whom are here today and were here on Saturday, and some who've since sadly passed away. He worked hard and times were good. I've great memories of these times and our Ready Mix friends. As Brian alluded to, Dad was a huge Mayo fan. Nonetheless, he always encouraged all of us to follow the county of our birth, and if Mayo were out, would always put his support fully behind Dublin, especially against Kerry. But such was his enthusiasm and love for Mayo that we were infected by it. I know he'll be doing all he can to exert his influence over proceedings to get them over the line, if not this year, sometime soon. Throughout my life, he never stopped supporting me in every way, and now I see my friends and relations do the same for their kids. We were all very lucky to have been produced from that generation. His sole purpose in life was to make a better life for his family, like so many of you here. And he succeeded in giving us a better life. He brought us to Malahide. How lucky were we? He loved Malahide, and so do we. He used to say after he was away on a nice holiday in Portugal or somewhere, that when he got back to Dublin Airport, he felt like kissing the ground like Pope John Paul. It's true, his favourite drive was from Dublin Airport to Malahide. He probably wouldn't have bothered going on holiday in the first place unless Mum hadn't quite rightly said, "We're going." One of his great pleasures was eating out in Malahide and pretty much all of the restaurants, but none more so than Sele Pepe's, where we've had so many great family nights out and where Collie, Louise, Joe and all of the team looked after us so wonderfully. More great memories. Dad's Louisburgh background instilled in me a love of the West, and I've since been lucky enough to build a life there, and I've been welcomed by my many relations and made great friends and workmates. He had a strong faith and was a regular mass goer, but he never pushed it on any of us. And thanks, Father Des, for bringing him and us a lot of comfort in Dad's final days. 11 years ago, we suffered a tragedy in losing dear Lena. That took a serious toll on Dad, as it did on all of us. Over the recent years, Dad has lost dear siblings, Tommy, Breege, Mary and Anne, his beloved niece Anne, and his beloved nephew Porrick in February. But he somehow carried on making the best of things. I'd love to think he's up there now with Lena and his other loved ones now. I probably wasn't what you'd call a model child or an easy child. We had our moments, but I knew he always had my back. Conservative with a small c, his politics differed radically from my own. On reflection, his were probably sensible, mine were largely nonsense. He could live with that. Mum was a rock of strength always, and still managed throughout to retain her sense of humour. She was by Dad's side for 62 years after marrying. She was by his side through the good times and the tough times. Mum and Dad were inseparable to the end. We're all so grateful to you, Mum, for how you supported Dad and us to the end, and you never complained. My sister Kathy and all her family for the shared good times with Mum and Dad and their massive practical help as Dad's health declined. Kathy has been such a rock of strength. Thanks, Kath. Dad's surviving siblings, Paddy, Joe, Margaret and Claire, and extended family have given us wonderful support throughout, from the USA and the UK and all over Ireland. Some couldn't make it here today, but they're with us in spirit. Thanks to Dad's many family and old friends who came to the funeral. I can't even begin to name names, there's so many. Old friends of Dad from Mayo or Ready Mix or Malahide, Royal Dublin, friends of Fiona and myself who travelled on their day off from Westport, everyone that's made the journey today. Finally, the grandchildren. He absolutely adored his 5 grandchildren. Grace, Brian, Shane, Sarah and Daniel. And they adored him. They had a wonderful relationship with him. He got such a kick out of them. He happily babysat them, took them to training, fed them and shared all their many achievements. They're truly the apple of his eye. In recent times they all stayed many nights with Mum and Dad when we couldn't make it there. Working with John and Una, negotiated all the online stuff for them, fetched and administered prescriptions. The list is endless. Just making life easier for their grandparents. Dad's first grandchild, Grace in particular, just took that care to another level. We'll never forget that. At that age I would have been well-meaning but clueless. Thank you so much. Probably more than anyone I should thank is my partner Fiona. We would have been lost without her. I'd also like to thank Dr. Agon and all at Railway Avenue, the staff at Beaumont, the Mater Private, and the wonderful palliative team at St. Francis Hospice. And thanks to all my dear friends and cousins and workmates who've all been so kind. I can't tell you how much your support has helped us, especially me, to be honest. Thanks for all the calls, messages, offers of practical help, and a bit of crack. It means an awful lot. Finally, thank you, Dad. We're all going to miss you dreadfully. Love always. Thank you.
Trusting in God, we prayed together for John, and now we come to the last farewell.